Avoiding metabolic disease in 2026. A warning. For many years, we were taught the old food pyramid, where bread, rice, and cereals were the base, and fats were pushed to the top. That model focused mainly on calories and food groups, not on hormones, metabolism, or food processing. Today, based on large scientific studies and updated guidelines, our understanding has changed. The new approach focuses on real, minimally processed foods, adequate protein, healthy fats, vegetables, and whole foods that keep insulin, appetite, and inflammation under control. The talk is about 3 simple questions for 2026. What should we eat more of? What should we limit? And what should we avoid, especially ultra-processed foods? This is educational information based on modern science and international guidelines, not personal medical advice. In 2026, the message from science is actually becoming simpler, not more complicated. The foundation of good health is not a special diet, but real whole food. First, whole foods. Foods that look like what they came from in nature. Meat, fish, eggs, vegetables, nuts, seeds, fruits, dairy, not packets and powders. Second, adequate protein. As we age, protein is not optional. It protects muscles, bones, metabolism, immunity, and even brain health. Most people are under-eating protein and overeating refined carbohydrates. Third, vegetables and fiber. These feed the gut bacteria, reduce inflammation, improve insulin sensitivity, and help control appetite naturally. Fourth, fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, kimchi, dosa batter, idli batter. These support the gut microbiome, which is now recognized as a key organ for immunity, metabolism, and mental health. Fifth, healthy fats, olive oil, ghee, butter, coconut, nuts, seeds, avocado, fatty fish. These stabilize blood sugar, reduce hunger, and support hormones. And finally, whole fruits, not juices. Whole fruits come with fiber and slow sugar absorption. Juices behave like sugar water and spike insulin. So the modern plate is not about calorie counting. It is about food quality, protein sufficiency, gut health, and hormone stability. When we say limit, we don't mean fear. We don't mean never. What we mean, don't say these become daily dominant foods. First, saturated fats. Not all saturated fats is evil, but excess saturated fat, especially when combined with refined carbohydrates, can worsen insulin resistance and cardiovascular risk in susceptible people. Balance matters. Use natural fats, but don't make processed fatty meats and deep fried foods your foundation. Second, refined carbohydrates, white bread, white rice, sugar, sweets, ultra-processed cereals. These cause rapid glucose and insulin spikes, drive fatty liver, visceral fat, and metabolic syndrome. They are the main fuel for insulin resistance. Third, fruit juices. Even 100% natural juice behaves like sugar water. The fiber is removed, the sugar hits the bloodstream fast, and insulin rises rapidly. Whole fruit is protective, juice is not. Fourth, late night eating. Eating late disrupts circadian rhythm, raises nighttime insulin, worsens reflux, sleep quality, and fat storage. The body designed to rest and repair at night, not digest large meals. So this slide is about respecting biology and timing, not just calories. Limit sugar spikes, limit insulin overload, limit eating against your body clock. This is how we protect metabolism in 2026. What to avoid or strongly reduce? This slide is where modern science is now very firm. First, ultra-processed foods. They are factory-made foods with long ingredient lists, refined starches, industrial oils, emulsifiers, flavor, enhancers, and colorings. Large studies in BMJ, Lancet, and Nature now show strong links with obesity, diabetes, heart disease, cancer, depression, and even dementia. These foods override appetite control, disrupt gut bacteria, and drive insulin resistance. Second, fructose and high fructose corn syrup. By added fructose, we do not mean the natural fructose inside whole fruits. We mean fructose that is added during food processing in stable sugar, honey, syrups, fruit concentrates, and especially high fructose corn syrup used in soft drinks, desserts, sauces, breakfast cereals, and packaged snacks. This type of fructose goes straight to the liver, promotes fatty liver, high triglycerides, insulin resistance, and belly fat. It does not trigger satiety hormones properly, so people overconsume without feeling full. So the problem is not fruit. The problem is added sugar and liquid sugar disguised in processed foods and drinks. Third, preservatives and additives. Many are legally allowed. They can disturb the gut microbiome, increase intestinal permeability, and promote low-grade inflammation. The gut is now recognized as a major regulator of immunity, metabolism, and brain health. Fourth, sugar sweetened beverages, soft drinks, energy drinks, sweet teas, flavored milks, sweet coffees. Liquid sugar is the fastest way to spike glucose and insulin, overload the liver, and promote fat storage. There is no safe metabolic dose for daily consumption. So in 2026, the message is clear. Avoid foods that are designed in factories to be additive, cheap, and shelf stable. And return to food that your great-grandparents would recognize. This is not about willpower. It is about protecting hormones, the liver, the gut, and the brain. Why people eat processed foods? Before we judge food choices, we must understand the environment people are living in. First, convenience and time pressure. Modern life is busy. Long working hours, commuting, family responsibilities. Processed foods are designed to be ready in minutes, while real food takes planning and preparation. Second, low cost. Ultra-processed foods are often cheaper per calorie than fresh protein, vegetables, and fruits. For many families, cost strongly influences choices. Third, aggressive marketing. From childhood, people are exposed to constant advertising, linking processed foods with happiness, success, energy, and comfort. This shapes preferences subconsciously. Fourth, hyperpalatable taste. These foods are engineered with the perfect combination of sugar, fat, salt, and flavor. Enhances to stimulate the brain's reward system. This is not weakness, it is neurobiology. Fifth, long shelf life. They are easy to store, transport, and stock. No spoilage, no waste. That makes them attractive in busy households. And finally, habit and culture norms. When we grow up, eating becomes normal. Breakfast cereals, packaged snacks, sweet drinks. They are now culturally accepted as everyday food. So people do not choose ultra-processed food because they are careless. They choose it because the modern food system is designed to push it. Our role is not to shame, but to educate, empower, and to show that simple, real food alternatives are possible, affordable, and life-changing. What the Americans say. The US Dietary Guidelines are now much more direct. They no longer just talk about moderation. They clearly single out processed foods, chips, cookies, sweet drinks, salty and sweet packaged snacks as foods that should not be part of daily eating. This is because these foods combine refined starch, sugar, unhealthy fats, and salt in a way that drives overeating, insulin spikes, fatty liver, and weight gain. So chips are not mentioned in isolation. They represent a whole category of ultra-processed snack foods that modern science now clearly links to metabolic disease. What Europeans say. Now let's look at what the large European studies are showing. The NutriNet-Santé study, published in Nature Communications in 2026, followed hundreds of thousands of people over many years. They found that people who ate more ultra-processed foods and foods high in preservatives and additives had a significantly higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes. This is not just about calories, it's about these food effects. Insulin signaling, liver fat, gut bacteria, low-grade inflammation. Ultra-processed foods disturb the gut microbiome, provide insulin resistance, and overload the liver with refined sugars and industrial fats. So Europe is saying the same thing as America. The more ultra-processed the diet, the higher the risk of diabetes and metabolic disease. This is now a consistent message across continents, not a local opinion. What cardiology and medical journals say. This is not just nutrition opinion anymore. This is now mainstream cardiology and internal medicine. Major journals as the European Heart Journal, Circulation, Journal of the American College of Cardiology, BMJ, and the Lancet are all reporting the same pattern. Diets high in ultra-processed foods are associated with increased insulin resistance, chronic low-grade inflammation, endothelial dysfunction, higher risk of heart attack and stroke. In simple terms, these foods damage blood vessels, overwork insulin, promote fatty liver, disturb gut bacteria, and drive inflammatory pathways. Heart disease is no longer seen as just a cholesterol problem. It is now recognized as a metabolic and inflammatory disease. strongly linked to diet, quality, and food processing. So when we advise people to avoid ultra-processed food, this is not alternative medicine. This is now cardiology, diabetology, hepatology, and neurology, speaking in the same language across Europe, America, and global medical journals. The message is consistent. Real food protects. Ultra-processed food harms. The final message is simple. Many modern foods, including a large number of products labeled as plant-based, are not traditional foods. They are ultra-processed industrial formulations created in laboratories, engineered for taste, texture, shelf life, and profit. They are often marketed as healthy, ethical, or environmentally friendly, but metabolically they behave like junk food. They spike insulin, disrupt gut bacteria, promote inflammation, drive fatty liver and insulin resistance. This is not an attack on vegetables or traditional plant foods. Vegetables, legumes, nuts, seeds, and fruits are real food. The concern is with ultra-processed substitutes that are far removed from nature. So the take-home message for 2026 is: eat food that looks like food. Avoid food that looks like a product. Choose what your body recognizes, not what the food industry has engineered. If you like this video, please subscribe. Please give us a thumbs up, and please paste your comments. Let us know how we could improve and help you all to be healthy. Thank you for watching.